Hey guys, Shayna Alverson, Kilo Coach, back with you today. Today I want to talk about scaling movements. So one of the most common emails that we get is, hey coach, this movement is too hard for me, what can I do instead? And so since I know you don't always have a coach available to tell you what's the next best thing to do, what I thought I would do is make a video about some different ways to scale movements and how you guys can do it yourself. Okay guys, number one way to scale is simply use a lighter weight. Kind of obvious, but if it's too heavy and you can't lift it up, easy way to scale, take some weight off. Got a barbell here, just slide one of the plates off, or don't put the heavy ones on to begin with. Regular ring row, when I'm down here, kind of close to parallel to the ground, it's pretty heavy. Right? It's going to take a lot of strength to be able to rep these out for a long time. So a very easy way to scale is to just change the angle of my body relative to the ground. I can just take a few steps back here. Now that movement becomes a lot more lifting less of my own body weight on each pull. Another movement I get several emails a week about is burpee. It's really hard for a lot of people to get their entire body all the way to the ground, push back up, and then jump up and clap. So to change that angle, I have an ordinary household object here. I think everybody has a chair. So I'm going to change the angle of my body relative to the earth, put my hands on the chair. Here I can hop out to my plank, push up off of the chair, hop the feet back in, jump and clap. Scaled burpee. The very common way that most people are familiar with using a jump stretch band is to assist a pull-up. Just thread it through itself this way. Stand in it to offset some of your body weight, and then it's going to help you get your pull-up in. So I like to use these for push-ups. This is a great way to practice a full plank push-up without going to the knees, so you can get practice keeping your core tight. I'm just going to dive in the band here and put the strap just across my ribs. Now it's going to help support me as I lower myself to the ground and press back up. So just be careful when you're getting out. Easy assistance for push-ups, jump stretch band. A lot of people have trouble balancing in the bottom of a squat. So if I go to the bottom of the squat but I have something to hang on to here, I can kind of keep myself from falling backwards and still keep my weight in my heels. Now, as I'm standing up, if I can't quite do that without assistance yet, I can use my hands to give a little pull, and that's going to let me get a full range of motion squat with good form, and I'm lightening the load by using my own assistance. If you're just starting out exercising and you have trouble completing that little crunch to get you to the top of the sit-up, you can take your hands, grab the backs of your thighs, and kind of pull yourself up. So that's going to let you still lower yourself down, get some ab work, but complete a full range of motion sit-up. Here, I'm just using a common household object. It's a plastic stick. It's PVC. You can get it at Home Depot for like $1. You can use a broomstick or a cane. But it's going to make me a little more balanced when I'm doing the movement. It's also going to allow me to use some of my own assistance, so we're dovetailing into that last example of how to scale. You guys know that when you do a lunge, you want to keep your body nice and straight up and down and make sure that your knee doesn't travel too far forward. That gets really tough for a lot of people who haven't developed the glute strength to stand up out of the lunge. So we're going to use the PVC to stabilize that movement, find our balance. Now I'm kind of leaning into it a little bit to help me lower myself using the good form, and then I can stand back up. If I want to travel, I just move the PVC forward. Same thing, lean into it and use it to help you stand up. So we're going to add stability to a box jump. This is something that's really mentally intimidating to a lot of people. So adding stability to it can give you a little more confidence. All I've done here is I set my box up next to a rope. This is a climbing rope. There's probably multiple ways to do this, but this is my favorite way. So all I'm going to do is hang on to the rope as I go from my box jump. It's going to give me a little extra support It's going to give me kind of an exit strategy if I feel like I'm toppling or falling. So stability in a place that you wouldn't expect. So we're getting creative with this stuff here, so you guys think about how you can apply some of these principles to add them to your own movements to scale them. A pistol, which is a one-legged squat, is a movement that's a little more advanced. It's kind of hard for some people to start learning because very similar to the squat, as you're coming down to the bottom, people tend to roll backwards, lose their balance. Same thing happens in the one-legged squat, the pistol, right? You come to the bottom and you just lose your balance. You can't quite maintain that upright position. So to help you balance, you can just use any kind of weight. I just grab a weight plate. You can use any kind of object with some heft to it to offset some of the weight that's falling backwards. I'm going to hold it out in front of me and it should be able to complete my pistol bottom to top without toppling backwards. Gravity is going to lower you no matter what. So we can use that lowering to resist against to create strengthening for the movement that we're trying to accomplish. For example, in a pull-up, the hard part is getting from the bottom to the top. But if you'll notice, on the way down was a little bit easier. I've got the assistance of gravity. It's pulling me towards the earth. So if I can just get to the top and try to practice lowering myself down a little bit slower, I'm going to start to develop the strength to get that full range of motion pull-up. So the way I'm going to do that is get my pull-up grip. I'm going to jump to the top of the pull-up and then see how slow I can lower myself down. The slower I go, the longer my muscles are loaded up, the more effective that strengthening effect is going to be. Just a side note, be careful, don't do too many of these because you can get really sore. And a dip. The real movement starts at the top and you go down and you press up. The way to scale that, so you're using gravity for assistance, is you're going to use your legs, jump to the top, and then you're going to see how slow can you lower yourself down to the bottom. The slower you go, the stronger your muscles are going to get. Some of the movements that we use in our functional fitness program are just kind of inherently bouncy or plyometric. So if we take out that bouncy piece, we're kind of adding stability, right, which was the same as number 5. And in that way, it's going to make the movement a little bit more manageable. First example of that is a jumping jack. So instead of hopping the feet out on every movement, I can keep one foot planted at all times, but still do the same movement with my arms and legs. And then I have a scaled jumping jack. Is a mountain climber. There's 2 different ways to do those, right? There's the kind of running in a horizontal position, and then there's the other way where you're kind of planting the foot next to your hand. Either way, if we take out the jumping the legs component, it gets a little bit easier. So what I'm going to do is keep one foot planted at all times, but still do that same movement, keep a nice tight core, and try to progress through it as quickly as I can. That's going to get me stronger to get me ready to do the dynamic version of mountain climbers. So there you have it, 8 ways to scale movements on your own. I would love to hear about in the comments if you guys come up with different ways of using some of these 8 different ways of scaling. Share it with us and let us know how you did and if it's working.